Hey everyone, this is Joe Grimberg, along with my friend Harold Gomes. We're going to bring to you a podcast, and after prayerful consideration, we have called our podcast Signs of Contradiction. Basically, we came up with this name because both of us are living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And for those of you that may not know, muscular dystrophy is a muscle weakness, and it has to do with the protein dystrophin is not present in muscular dystrophy. So it makes the muscles weak, and eventually it can be fatal. But it's your muscles, your heart, lungs, affects everything. But with technology today, kids with MD are living a lot longer and more productive lives. And we came up with this name because we believe that our circumstances to the world is a sign of contradiction. And you may ask, what does that mean? Well, what it means is to the world, we look like we're in a sad situation, meaning we have an incurable disease that could eventually lead, to death. But on the other hand, we're joyful. You may ask, why are we joyful? That's crazy. Well, there's a reason, because our joy is that we can gain eternal life with the help of Jesus Christ, who gave us the ability to have eternal life by his death on the cross. And by his resurrection, we have hope. And that's where we have our hope, despite our handicap. So we're looking forward to bringing our perspective to everyone out there. We welcome everyone, no matter what your faith is. We welcome you to come in, and we like your input. But just understand that we'll be discussing issues based on our Catholic worldview. We'll be discussing all sorts of topics. Sometimes we'll do movie reviews. Sometimes we'll discuss the bad things about the culture. We're going to focus on the good things of the culture. We're going to discuss a lot of things. We hope to have a lot of fun, and we hope you enjoy the ride, and it should be exciting. It should be fun for us. But today, Harold, we're going to talk about a little bit about Lourdes, and why don't you go ahead and tell people about Lourdes, the background, and then I'll tell my story about Lourdes, and then you tell yours.
Well, it's good to be with you, Joe, and with our viewers. Lourdes is a Catholic shrine in southern France, known for its miraculous healings. Many people go there on pilgrimage, seeking healing. In 1858, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to a young girl named Bernadette in Lourdes. She revealed the presence of a miraculous spring which flows there to this very day. The spring is routed through fountains and baths into which people can be immersed. There have been about 69 approved miracles that have been investigated by the Catholic Church. But everyone who goes there comes back changed in one way or another. We each had the individual opportunities to go there with our families and to be immersed in the water there. So we'd like to share a little bit about our stories and experiences in Lourdes.
Interject about our experiences at Lourdes. Obviously, Harold, traveling can be difficult. Explain a little bit of that to the viewers about the difficulty of traveling with MD, and I'll give you my perspective as well. They may overlap, so go ahead, Harold.
Sure. Well, traveling was one of the things that was kind of scary to me at first, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't really want to go. But part of me did, but it's just the fact that I knew the travel would be physically taxing. I wasn't really looking forward to that. So when I got to the airlines, they didn't have the equipment needed for me to get from my chair, my wheelchair, to the aisle, to the actual seat. They had what's called an aisle chair, and they didn't have that ready for me. So they were kind of caught off guard. And so I got into this, they finally got it out, and I got into this small little cart kind of thing. And
can I interject real quick?
yeah, sure.
I hate that cart.
Yeah.
That cart is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's like so low to the ground. I've never been in it, anything like that before, but they got me to the seat, and
yeah, it's never a way where it, you know, you can inconspicuously get in there. Yeah. You have everyone in the airport,
and everyone's
looking at you and be like,
yeah,
oh great, it's a show.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely not fun.
Yeah, when you initially got there, explain how you felt when you first landed after that trip. Was it all? Were you feeling great? Like, oh, I'm glad I'm here. What were your initial feelings when you actually landed?
Yeah, well, when I got there, I was not feeling it at all. I was like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? I just felt like...
And you're exhausted?
Yeah.
Probably sore?
Yeah.
I hasn't used the restroom in a while.
Right.
It's definitely... I feel you when you said...
It's not an easy flight.
When I got there, I was like, why did I come?
Yeah.
Everything's unfamiliar. You're just feeling like out of place, but it has to do with the jet lag.
But the next day, you know, we had enough sleep and everything, and I was able to recuperate. And the next morning, we went straight to the grotto there with the water, with the taps and the baths off to the side. But we went there, and I drank some of that water, and I started experiencing a kind of joy to be there. And I started appreciating being there. And it was just a really beautiful experience. I felt like my faith became a living faith, because I could see all these people coming to this place to find God, as it were, to really come to grow in their faith and their love for God. And you know, while I was there, I felt that God really loved me, that He cared for me, that I mattered to Him, and that my suffering actually was not a curse, but rather a blessing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But
yeah, we each have a different path. With myself, one of our parish priests was telling my dad about, you ever been to the Lord's? We're like, no. Well, I know a group that takes pilgrims every year, sit pilgrims up to Lourdes. So we're like, okay. So we went and talked to the people, lined up the trip, and so we were off. It was a great experience, but getting there was difficult, as we talked about earlier. The trip, you know, but after you get a little rested up, get aware of the settings and the surroundings, and the people that you meet were fantastic. Every day they'd have a different person helping me out, basically spoiling me, so that was cool. But just the people that were there in our group were really, a lot of them were have different ailments, different illnesses, but there was a bond there because each of us suffered in a different way. But eventually I got in the baths 3 times. First I was a little disappointed, but as the trip went on and after I got home, spiritually it really helped me out a lot. Going to Lourdes, it physically and spiritually was a big deal for me. Years before I had a conversion a little bit, and through that, going through that prepared me for Lourdes. And Lourdes was a blessing to be able to go to. And we recommend everyone, particularly those that have illnesses, to go over there. You can probably contact Knights of Malta. Yeah. And it was just a beautiful experience. I know Harold and I really think it did wonders for us. Obviously, people would, Harold, many people were asking, well, it didn't work. Why did you go? You're not healed. Well, how would you respond to that?
Well, I remember I had a friend online who he was Muslim actually, but he received the news that I was going to Lourdes with kind of respectfully. He really appreciated that I was really into my faith, and that I told him that I was going to Lourdes, and that there are many physical healings that take place there. And I remember when I got back, he asked me, "Are you healed?" And I said, it's funny you ask, because yes, I am. I am healed. I'm healed in the sense that I didn't expect. I was healed spiritually. I was healed inside. I had, for a long time, questioned whether or not God cared about me. That, maybe, not that I doubted in God's existence. I actually always believed in the existence of God, but I kind of felt that He could care less.
Kind of felt abandoned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't say I really hated God, but I just felt indifferent towards Him because I felt that He was indifferent towards me. And so I was very depressed, and I hated myself. I hated everyone, really. And kind of became anti-social. And
yeah, you kind of turn in a little bit. I did the same thing. Except you said you were indifferent. I was actually really, really angry at God. Angry at everyone that I encountered. And I had a friend that was helping me out. And I treated him really bad. And really treated everyone horribly. Just bad language. Just not a nice person to be around.
Yeah.
Like you said. And, you go inward and you feel sorry for yourself.
Exactly.
You're mad that you're seeing other people drive cars and go to college, and I'm like, I felt abandoned. Like, I'm not doing anything. These people are leaving and going on with their lives, and I'm stuck.
Yeah, I was very much like that as well, because I felt like I want to be like everyone else. I want to have the same opportunities to be a kid, a teenager, which I didn't really have because of my disability. Kind of limits you, But I was, instead of looking at what I could do, I was looking at what I couldn't do, and turning inward on myself, and became very selfish. And it was in Lourdes that that got reversed, or the final stages of that reversal process took place in Lourdes. Because prior to going to Lourdes, I started coming around, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Lourdes sealed.
No, it wasn't just.
It sealed the deal.
It was eventually, but yeah, exactly, like you said,
Yeah.
Sealed the deal basically for me as well.
Yeah. When I went to Lourdes expecting that physical healing, and I didn't receive it, what I received was even greater, because it was the sense that the soul is immortal, and if I have my soul, I have everything. But my body, if I have a perfect body, and I'm gonna end up in hell, what good is it?
Yeah, it's like that. What good is it? The man goes gains the whole world but loses his soul. If we're not taking care of our soul, then it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because your body's going to decay no matter how much good food you eat. like, oh, we got to be healthy. Yeah, we got to be healthy, but we also got to realize this isn't forever. We got to live for eternity, but at the same time, with our feet put on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in Lourdes, you get the sense that God is real, that heaven is real, and you want to go there. I mean,
piece of heaven.
Yeah, exactly. And you get kind of a sense of the joy that you get an idea of the kind of joy that heaven will be like, that heaven will have, because you see that we still have our disabilities, but we start to understand that there is hope, that there is actually light at the end of the tunnel, that after this earthly existence, we will be in heaven with perfect bodies, that we will have our physical abilities. We'll be able to run, we'll be able to jump and all of that, and if you're right with God, you can expect that. You can expect to be in heaven.
And that's where our hope is, in heaven. And that whole the eyes of the world, it would seem like, what? They're not healed. What? That again leads into our podcast, Signs of Contradiction.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like we're physically not healed, but spiritually we're healed and we're happy. That doesn't mean we're smiling all the time.
Right, exactly.
But it just means there's a deep joy that at the end of the day, when our lives are over, we're going to be looking back on it and being like, you know what, God? Thank you for giving me MD. I mean, it sounds nuts to people without faith, but saved you from a lot of temptations that people fall into, and it's just crazy to say that it has been a blessing because it's made us wise.
Yeah.
And that goes for everyone that suffers. If you can suffer in the Spirit of Christ, it's going to be a blessing. At the end of the day, the very thing that you thought was the worst thing that could ever happen was actually the best thing.
Exactly.
That could ever happen.
Contradiction. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here, but that's one of the main reasons we did our podcast. We wanted to kick that off on February 11th. But as I was saying earlier, Harold and our schedules kind of get conflicted a little bit, but finally are back on track, and we're going to do the Signs of Contradiction podcast. We're going to try to do it once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and we hope it's going to be fun for you guys. We would love to hear from you. We would like your comments or your suggestions or any other questions. Go to Harold, give them the website so they can go ahead and look.
Yeah, it's www.signsofcontra.wordpress.com.
Now, it's in no relation to
no relation to the
Contra, the game.
The video game, no.
No, that's not what I'm saying, but
yeah.
I love that game, by the way. But
yeah.
Anyways, don't want to get off topic, but it's going to be fun, Harold, and
yeah.
And we'd love to get a big audience to join in our expedition, and it should be a lot of fun. And
yeah, we hope to have you all continue to listen to us and watch us, and thanks.
You guys have a good evening, and looking forward to having you listen next time, and that'll be it for Signs of Contradiction.
There's nothing I can do when I believe in